Hey guys, this is Mark here, and if you are watching this video, you've likely just got the awesome email that you passed your mock, your contract's been accepted, and the teacher portal is open up to you to get started opening your schedule and to really work at growing your online teaching business. So I'm just going to do an overview of the website, a couple of important things that you need to know that aren't necessarily obvious when you log into the portal for the first time. So we're going to go over to the website, and here is my website. This is my portal here. This is the home that you log into. It shows your upcoming classes. If you have any of these items that you need to wrap up, some other promotions that they're doing. These are usually related to either using your tokens or getting more tokens, and then there's some videos down here at the bottom that you can watch. You'll also notice this over here on the side for the PC app. I will try to remember to come back to that at the end, but for now, this is all you need to just open up Chrome, log into your browser. So the first thing that we're all excited to do when we get our contract is to start opening up our schedule. So to do that, you're going to come here to the menu bar and hover over Classrooms and come down here to Bookings. Give that a click, and this it opens up your this is your week here. So this is the current week. I'm going to go out here a couple of weeks to where I haven't opened up my schedule, and I'll show you guys how this works. So alright, so this is the first week I don't have anything scheduled. So you'll see here this labels the time zone, or the first thing you want to do is come up here and set the time zone that you're in, and I think it has all the time zones covered. So if you are a world traveler, you can adjust this to your time zones, and then all of the times here will adjust accordingly to your local time. Now you will see here that they have some times listed as hot, and then this red here, hot, and then the kind of the grayish brown hot here again at the end. So these are the times you are most likely to get booked and have parents pick up your class. So right now this is the end of March. Daylight savings time has happened in the US, and so now my schedule, my peak schedule starts at 4 a.m. for me and runs through until 8 o'clock. Now for these 4 sessions here from 5 to 7 o'clock for me, that'll be different for you based on your time zone. These are what you'll sometimes see referred to in VIP correspondence, or sometimes in Facebook groups as the PPT times. This is the peak times. So you have, for me, from 4 to 5, these are peak times, and you have 2 hours of peak times, and then another 2 hours at the end of regular peak times. And a lot of times you'll see VIPKID issue promotions for opening a certain number of PPT or peak time slots because of need. A lot of times they'll do it around the holidays, around Thanksgiving and Christmas. Sometimes they'll do it at other times when they expect kind of an influx of students and they want to encourage teachers to open more time slots. And there are 28 PPT times per week, and a lot of those promotions are based on either opening usually between 20 to 28 slots, and then they graduate the bonus, the added money that they give you based on that. So that's kind of the explanation of how this time works. So in order to start opening up times, you come up over here and click this unlock button. And you can unlock that, and now you can go through and start opening up the times that you want to teach. So I'm going to go through here. I have found for me that with daylight savings time, it adjusts my schedule to Beijing in a way that I can start teaching at 3 in the morning. And so I will come here, I just click on the time slot that I want to open. I'll click this first button that says course, so that becomes available. If you only click this button, it means that somebody has to select your time at least 24 hours beforehand. And that can work if you find that for you personally, as you're starting out, you need a lot of prep time and you don't want to have any surprises come up. You can only click this button and that's perfectly fine. Now, kind of from the beginning, I'm pretty comfortable teaching on the fly. I don't need a whole lot of prep time. So I will click this short notice button. Now, this short notice button allows somebody to pick up your class. It's supposed to be within 24 hours, but before 1 hour. That's how it's supposed to be. I have heard of people on Facebook groups getting picked up like 10 minutes before a class starts, which can kind of be a little nerve-wracking. I don't think I've had it happen to me before. I have had it happen where I was going to be teaching a trial class, kind of a promotional class for VIPKID, and then that student gets switched around and the level gets switched around, which is a little nerve-wracking. I've watched that switch around on me a few times over the course of a day or so. So anyway, I'm comfortable enough opening up these slots and allowing them to be short notice. And I'm going to go through and do that here for this day. And you will notice here that they come up and give you a warning here. And even here it says that it can be booked up to an hour before the class begins. So that's what the rules are supposed to be, and maybe they're becoming more strict with that and trying to avoid the 10-minute notice that I talked about before. And okay, so I'm just gonna go through here and open up all these slots. Alright, cool. So this is my Monday here, and you have to keep an eye on this. They arrange their schedule in the with Monday first. So the schedule goes from Monday to Sunday. So just be aware of that. And then you go through and do that for each day that you want to be available. And if you are just starting out, you probably want to open as many short notice slots as you're comfortable with. Now you've seen here, I've opened up for this day 10 back-to-back classes, which when I started out, there's no way I would have been able to do that. I did do back-to-backs pretty early on, and I think the most I would do at a time was like 4, and then eventually I got up to where I was comfortable with 8. And so you just need to do what is going to work for you. So something that might work better for you is to open up every other slot, which means that you would finish a class and then have a half hour to prepare for the next class. And so if you are opening a bunch of short notice slots, you'd be able to finish that class, then come back to your teacher portal and see what class has been scheduled. If you happen to get one that's within an hour, you would have a half hour to look through the slides and kind of plan things out and regroup and get ready for your next class. And in that half hour, you can also work on getting your feedback finished, so you don't finish a bunch of classes and then have a bunch of feedback that you need to do. And I'm going to do another video here where I talk about feedback for new teachers and kind of some strategies and tools to help you with that. So these are, anyway, so this opening up every other slot is a possible way that could work for a new teacher that is getting used to doing the feedback and getting used to lesson prep. So you can open up half as many slots as you would, and then kind of step up from that. So if you find that eventually you kind of get into a flow, then you could open up this middle slot here and try doing 3 classes back to back and see how that goes for you, and eventually work yourself up to doing some back-to-back classes. It does take some practice, and also it takes some practice and also some practice physically to kind of get up the stamina to be able to do a bunch of back-to-back classes. So just kind of keep that in mind and start with what you're comfortable with, and if you find that works for you and you want to make a little more money, then you can kind of step it up from there. Once you've gone through and you've opened up the slots you want for the week, come back over here and you can lock your schedule again so you can't accidentally click on anything. You'll see here I'm clicking on time frames and it's coming up with this message that my slots panel is still locked. So this is probably the most important thing that you guys want to see in the video of how to open up your schedule and how to get started. So if that's all you want to see, awesome. I'm going to go through some other aspects of the site that I also think are important for new teachers to be aware of. Next thing to be aware of as a new teacher is workshops, and I have another video where I talk about workshops. Sometimes teachers have a hard time getting their first few classes and really being able to roll things forward. I've heard of people taking 30 or 60 days, sometimes a little longer, to where they start getting regular classes. They'll have a couple trickle in, and then it'll be crickets for a little bit, and then they'll get a few more. So one of the things that you can do is to develop yourself. And a great tool that VIPKID has given us to do that is the workshops. You get to the workshops by coming here to resources and come down here and click on library. So they have a bunch of great resources and videos that are available straight from here, and then you see here the workshop schedule is a great tool. These are meetings done via webinar, so they're done through Zoom. Some of you may be familiar with that. You'll get the information of how to download that and install it as soon as you sign up for your first workshop, if you don't already have it installed in your computer for something else that you're doing. So you can click on here and it'll take you to the workshop schedule. It'll open up another tab here. So I found these to be incredibly useful. I still try and do a couple a month to continue to develop myself and learn some areas of teaching English as a second language that I'm not as proficient with as somebody that's done it professionally. So I think these are a great resource. The first one that you have here is the new teacher kickoff workshop. This is an hour-and-a-half meeting, and they do kind of a big overview of all kinds of things. A big overview of pacing, which you'll probably find, if you're like a lot of new teachers, that's going to be a challenge for you, finishing within the 25 to 28 minutes. And they give an overview of that. They give an overview of parent feedback. They talk about the workshops that are available. Trying to think what else to talk about. I think they give you a run through of the VIPKID website. They'll go into it probably in a little more depth what I'm doing now. So I think these are really great. They're really well done. They're done by teachers that have been around for a long time and can really help get you started on the right foot. After that, you have the new teachers workshop schedule, and you'll see here these are based on individual topics. So if you find that you have difficulty doing TPR and demonstration with certain topics, you can come to this workshop and learn how maybe get some ideas for hand gestures, or if you found in a class that there's something difficult you're having difficulty get something across to a student, you can come in here, and they always do great question and answer sessions at the end. And if you are developing yourself as a new teacher, these are always good to watch from the beginning. It can give you some ideas of how to teach and improve your ability of teaching in an online classroom. And once you get a few classes under your belt and you have some practical questions based on your own experience, you can come back and retake all of these workshops and ask questions. I've done that with a few of these. Time management, this is the pacing workshop. Trial classes, this is a great way to get your first classes and to pick up new students with the trial class certification. It's similar to the major course certifications, and as a teacher having signed your contract, you have to do a recorded class and get that reviewed to have this open up. But I'm kind of digressing on a whole bunch of topics. But this is this trial class 3.0 is something to look into. If you find that you're having a hard time getting your first classes through a major course, you can apply for the trial certification. So user assessments, student engagement, marketing yourself. This is a great one for new teachers. How to improve your profile and interact with the kids. So you have all of these workshops available to you to number one, make yourself more marketable, become more confident in your online teaching abilities, as well as market yourself and become more attractive to parents and also to the learning partners that kind of manage the students. There's a learning partner that manages a group of students underneath them, and sometimes they can make recommendations. If a family's having a hard time finding a teacher, they can make a recommendation. And for a new teacher, having these workshops under your belt makes you look good. So that is the workshops. The other thing here under this resources tab are the certifications. You will come in here and you will see all of these. You will see all of these things, these different headings, and the one that you all have highlighted is the major course certification that you were hired with, that you signed your contract with. So if you did level 2 and level 3, these will both show up in color, and all of these other ones will be grayed out. If you're curious about mine, the static level 2 doesn't hardly exist anymore. There are a few straggler kids that get those classes, but if you're a new teacher, you won't be teaching any of these, and you'll see this trial class down here, this trial class certification that I mentioned briefly before. So this will be under this major course tab. You'll see the certifications that you have. If you come here to the EDU, you will see the TESOL VIPKID Foundational. This is what you completed in your hiring process. This TESOL Advanced is not a requirement, but it can make you look more attractive to parents. And this is something that you can continue working on. And some of these other things will not be available to you as a new teacher, and they're not available to me yet. I think some of these will open up once I teach 1,000 classes, and that's coming up here pretty shortly. If you are interested in looking at other certifications for other levels, all you have to do is click on, here, I'll click on this one here. So this is the certification for level 5, and if you scroll down here, it tells you what the requirements are. So to be able to teach level 5, I have to have a level 4 or level 6 certification, and I don't have either of those, so this is not available to me. The level 4 certification here is, let's see here. Oops, I already started it. It's not showing me the prerequisites. There might not be any prerequisites for this one. Anyway, you can check out all of this stuff here for things that you may be interested in. Moving on from that here, this is another section of the website that will be important to you. Your info, so account center, and this is where you can, I think this is where you can adjust your profile if you want, set up your payment information for your bank account. Stats, this shows you your kind of different stats. So these are the current month stats. So this is for March. And this is the PPT slots that I mentioned before, those 4 slots that are kind of prime time for teaching in China. See here, participation stats. I had 1 student IT this month, that's what that is, yeah. And then parent feedback, and this is the last 30 days, within the last 30 days. So I have 31%, which is kind of low for me. I didn't realize it was that low. And then your timely submission rate for user assessments and course feedback at the end. And this is something that should always be at 100% unless something just slips your mind. And related to this, if you get full payment for a class if you submit the parent feedback within 12 hours. You get half payment for submitting it between 12 and 24 hours, and you get no payment for a class if you submit it after 24 hours or not submitting it at all. So you definitely want to make sure that you get that in on time. I did have one where it slipped my mind and I submitted it outside the 12 hours. I was really frustrated. Anyway, so that's what that is. Now, the last section of the site that we're going to go through is the support tab. Okay, this is the policy information that you can read through regarding different things. This button right here is to contact support. There are a lot of reasons you could do this. Oops. So we'll look here at some of my tickets. So some of these are regarding corrected feedback. I made a mistake on an item of feedback. I wanted to know what my teacher tags are. There are 5 teacher tags that we each have, and if you're curious what those are, you can request them. And regarding this, some of them may sound better than others, but the teacher tags don't always translate to what we think of when we hear these words. And so they assign us tags based on what they observe in us during our mock class and how they think that we will present best to families looking for teachers. If you don't have 5 tags, you want to make sure that you have some added, but we should all have 5 tags. Okay? if you need to submit a ticket, you click here on the contact support, and it will ask for some information regarding what the ticket is about. So you can kind of see here the different reasons that you can submit a ticket, and they really range from everything. You just kind of try and find what's closest to the issue that you're having and submit it based on that. If you once you submit a ticket, they will usually reply back within 24 hours. And if it's something where you're requesting some support from the learning partner, from the LP person for your student, that will usually play itself out over a day or two where they get back to you. If you are trying to get some information from a parent or something, it can also take a few days to get. So, one of the main things you can do in here is to contest a parent Apple score. If they give you a less than 5 Apple review, typically 3 apples or less, you can contest that and provide information that you have regarding the class. And there are some other things here. So you can come in here and contact support, send your ticket in, and then check back the next day, and there will be some kind of an update here under your tickets. So I think I covered everything that I wanted to regarding the teacher portal when you first log in. You know what? I did not cover the PC app. So the PC app is a VIPKID app that you download to your computer, and it essentially opens up the website within the app, and and they have some statistics that I've heard them talk about, where you get a better connection to the server. You don't experience as many problems with the student side either, although I haven't always found that to be accurate. One of the big things that I really like about it is in the teacher window, when you're teaching in the app, in your kind of box, it will show you your ping, and the ping for from your computer to the VIPKID server computers. So if there are IT issues going on in the class, you can screenshot that as you go and have proof that the connection problem was not from your side. And pro tip, to get your screenshots, I use Dropbox, and you can get 2 gigs of Dropbox for free, right, for just setting up an account. If you hit the print screen button, it will do a screenshot of most things on your computer except for the VIPKID app. To get the screenshot from within the app, you can hold Control and the print screen button, and that will force Dropbox to take a screenshot of your desktop. I found that out by accident, and those screenshots have been helpful for a couple of tickets that I've submitted related to some classes. So that's it. I hope this has been helpful for you guys, and I really wish you the best of luck. I hope you get your first classes quickly, and I'll talk to you soon.